Welcome here. This time I'll bring you the ASUS Cerberus bundle, but first just watch this game clip with King Cerberus and Dante from Devil May Cry. So as my previous video, these products and the game are not related any way possible apart from a personal touch that I did introduce, connecting both model name Cerberus with the King Cerberus from the game itself. I'm bringing you today then the ASUS Cerberus bundle, which I'll start with the V2 headset, then following the mouse Arctic edition and finalizing with the keyboard Arctic edition. I opted for this black and blue V2 since I feel that complements my Arctic breeze feeling. However, you can choose between blue, red and green. As for the price, you can find this brand new for around £40 on Amazon. Feel free to check the link in the description. However, I managed to find this one for £15, never used, in a box on eBay. The V2 comes with a dual splitter for some dual port devices, a built-in microphone, and a volume controller on the braided cable connected directly to the headset, and for the last but not least, the boom microphone, which is a detachable and can be bent for better voice quality. So for the V2 standing for a second generation of his previous version, some of the improvements that we can actually find directly just by looking at it will be the stainless steel headset. Another thing will be the elastic band, which comes with some cushions inside. And as for the ear cups, they actually rotate as well, but that you can be found on the previous one. However, inside of the ear cups, the drivers have been reduced from 60mm to 53mm, which usually stands for decreasing the sound quality. However, thankfully for the ASUS Essence drivers, they managed to compact all that powerful in the small ones and actually improving it, giving you clear sound and a stronger bass. So as for a voice mic test with the inline microphone, this is the sound that you should expect, since I'm recording it with it now. Its sound recording is omnidirectionally, which stands for capturing all the sounds around. It's quite clear, to be honest, and it can count with the microphone just on the braided cable next to the microphone controller and the volume on the side. If you do put it close to your mouth, this is actually the kind of sound it should be clear, but majority of the times you're just going to use the clip to stand it on your shirt or just let it rest, as I am at the moment. If we now pass for the boom microphone, as you can see, is actually quite bending, so you can actually play with it around. Something I noticed, you do have a flat line which should be actually to fit in the headphone in the right position, and just be aware that I noticed that when I plug it in that position, the input for the microphone actually stands for the opposite direction, so I had to rotate it in order to put it in the right way. So passing now to the boom microphone, this is the type of sound you should expect. Thanks for the bending composition and the building materials of this boom microphone. As I mentioned before, you can adjust in a 90-degree angle, or even for the fun, just actually put it out. Returning for the normal position, you can leave it up to the front or actually leaning it closer to your mouth in order to have a clear sound. Independent of both microphones, I did realize that I needed to add at least a 10 extra dB boost on the Windows settings. Being the Arctic edition for the ASUS Cerberus model, this only comes in white top with the sides in black rubberized material and the red bottom. However, if you do prefer in black and red, you can choose the normal ASUS Cerberus, which have the same exact specs. As for the price, you can find this one brand new on Amazon for £35. Feel free to check the link in the description. However, I did manage to find this one online for £15. As for the RGB, this mouse is set by factory when it comes to 4 specific colors, which will be starting for the 500 dpi, which is the green color, the 1000 dpi for red, 2000 for blue, and 2500 for pink. The RGB on this mouse is defined by a breathing mode, which will take between approximately 5 seconds between each breath. As for the design, ASUS, when launched this mouse, they mentioned this will be ambidextrous design, which partially is true because it does fit either end of sides. However, I say partially because the back and forward buttons are actually on the left side, which if was actually for both sides, somehow it could be interchangeable, but I believe that's unfortunately not the easiest thing to do, especially for the price that have been released at the time. However, it's still a nice touch for if you don't bother with it. Having the same situation as I mentioned on the mouse, being a Arctic edition, you cannot change the color, but once again you can actually choose the normal ASUS Cerberus, which comes in black and red. As for the price, you can actually find this one on Amazon as well for around £36, and that's actually the price that I paid for this keyboard. I didn't manage to find anywhere cheaper. The RGB on this keyboard is brought to you in 2 different options, static and dynamic. The static being the steady light or the breathing mode, which is, as you can see now, will be flashing in and out. And as for the static, you do have 4 different levels when it comes to the brightness side of it. And when it comes for the breathing mode, there is a possible 10 different levels of combination, which will start from 12 seconds from each breathing up to 3 seconds between each breathing. The 343 combinations possible on this keyboard, the majority of them will be only found manually by searching it. However, by pressing F1 and the following numbers such as 1 for red, 2 for darker orange, 3 for orange, 4 for green, 5 for blue, 6 for lighter blue, 7 for purple, and once you get to the eye, it will activate automatically the breathing mode between all these colors. As for the F1 plus 9 will allow you to search for your specific color by pressing combination of the RGB. There are 12 preset macros on this keyboard, as you can see on this table, and the good news is they are optimizable, so you can actually change the macros for whatever you'd like. If you'd like to see more in-depth information on how to do it, I'll put the link in the description or just over here in order to allow you to see how to use the functions of this keyboard, from the lights, RGB, multimedia keys, between others. Just don't forget to subscribe in order to see that video once I launch it. As for the multimedia keys, we can count with the stop, play and pause, backward and forward in the music automatically will be touching your multimedia player such as Spotify, Windows Media Player, between others, and your volume up and down controls. Another interesting thing about this keyboard is the WASD keys can be activated to be only arrows, especially if you're a gamer, and that will be useful for you, but you can do that on games directly as well, so not a big deal. Once you plug in this keyboard, it will come automatically in the gaming profile, which will allow you to activate all these functions, changing the RGB lights, activating the rapid fire keys, and even transferring the arrows to the WASD. Another thing as well will be counting with the 19 anti-ghosting keys, which you can see them on the table just over here. And the second profile that it can be changed, for example, imagine that you're letting somebody else using your keyboard but you don't want them to mess with your configurations. You can just activate the normal profile, which the RGB will be set to a mint color, and none of the functions will be activated until told otherwise to the keyboard. ASUS, when launched this keyboard, they said that it's splash proof, not waterproof. Don't confuse both of them. I did not test it in this particular case. I did done a couple of research. As you can see in the picture, will be somewhere over here when it comes to the splash holes in order to rinse the water, but that will be useful if you actually level up your feet, otherwise it will be in a flat surface, so will not actually work properly. This keyboard doesn't count with Red Cherry MX keys, however the sound is quite acceptable and it still gives you a good touch feeling that you're actually pressing the keys. Something particular I did not like is, as for the material, it may look very robust by the shape of it, but when it comes to the plastic material, unfortunately, it's quite bending when you actually press on the extremities or even on the center. It just quite bends. Just before I start sharing my thoughts about the pros and cons as a personal opinion, it's worth to mention that unfortunately none of these three products actually have any software that allows you more optimization, which automatically will be a con for me, but still worth it to try. Starting with the V2 headset, a very good pro will actually be the building quality, which is very up to standard even on nowadays, especially with the stainless steel and the headbands create very good comfort, plus the ear cushions, they are all wrapped up. They're actually very big, however, they cover all the sound and create some sort of ANC. The microphone itself, it actually captured a very good sound as well, so I'll put that as a plus. On the cons itself, in my previous video, which about the ASUS Vulcan ANC, which you can actually or see up here, or maybe I'll put it in the description, it did bring ASUS ROG Spitfire audio processor, which actually enabled to optimize three different functions, if you remember or you saw it, which is the FPS, the amplifier, and the virtual surround 7.1. Unfortunately, this one, it doesn't bring any kind of audio processor, and like I mentioned, no softwares on it. As for the mouse itself, I really did enjoy the rubberized feeling on the very top of the model. And the ambidextrous design, even if I don't require it, but it's good thinking for every sort of user for this mouse. As for cons, the RGB is not optimizable, which it's okay, it's only partially, you can only choose between the DPIs, not being able to change the colors for different DPIs if you actually wanted to. And another major con as well, as you may see now on the video, is the color. When the RGB is lighting up, due to the cheap plastic around it, it doesn't isolate the color, making floating around. To finalize with the pros and cons, as for the keyboard, something I did really enjoy is the 343 possible combinations for the RGB lighting, which nowadays with the software we just click and search, but being actually challenged to manually look for the colors you enjoy will take you a good couple of minutes or even maybe hours to actually find them. The other pros from this will be the multimedia keys and the macros that are customizable for your likes. As for the cons, will definitely be the building up material, which is quite bending, but it still can sustain and doesn't affect when you're using it, only if you do apply a lot of pressure in the middle of it. And thank you for watching. Hope that it was actually helpful or contributed somehow for your knowledge or maybe for your decision of what to buy. Don't forget to subscribe, just alerts, and comment if there is any suggestions or any questions you'd like to do. See you next time.